And we are recording, all set there. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Lindsay Roth, and I am the community manager and also the assistant vice chancellor for annual giving at UMass Dartmouth. I've been in higher education now for about 12 years and have been using ThankView to drive solicitation and engagement at multiple institutions over the last 3 years. For those of you who don't know, we do have a Facebook partner community group, and great ideas are being shared there every single day. If you aren't a member, just simply open up Facebook and type ThankView Partner Community into the search bar and request to join our group, and somebody will really approve you within moments, because there's a few people that watch that pretty regularly, including myself. It's a great place to just toss ideas out there, see what sticks, and also learn from others and see what's happening. I also do a fair amount of outreach in the group, just sharing articles and stimulating discussion and making sure that we are connecting as a community and making sure that, you know, we're using video in our messaging as much as possible. In that same vein, we do have a blog called Send and Receive, and it's hosted on medium.com/thankview. We have case studies and success stories, client profiles. Again, a lot of these articles are also shared in our ThankView Partner Community group on Facebook. But if you've had something that's worked particularly well, talk to myself or your account manager, and we'd be happy to talk about doing a little write-up and sharing your success with the rest of the group. So today we're really going to focus on some video stats, which I think are important, especially when you're trying to make the case to leadership to lead with video, which I think is still not something that higher education completely embraces as much as other industries do. We can also talk about the ways that video really can enhance your message and make sure that your click-through rates and open rates are being impacted positively as a result. We're going to talk about different partners you can find on and off campus and some creative ways to use them. This has been a very popular request, an actual review of a student employee job role. And so I'm going to talk through some bullet points that I think would be really important to include in something like that if you want to post a student work study position and actually give them video and ThankView responsibilities as part of that. And then just some campaigns to consider within ThankView for making your video collection and outreach as easy as possible when dealing with various partners on campus and off. As I said, we do have Q&A open, so feel free just to shoot a question over and I'd be happy to answer it in real time. Otherwise, we'll just dive right in. So Cisco predicts that 82% of all internet traffic will be video by 2021. Obviously, streaming drives a lot of this, but still, I think it just speaks to the nature of us reading less and watching more. According to Google, 6 out of 10 people would rather watch online videos than TV. And that, I think, speaks to the YouTube generation, and we, have Generation Z coming up into the mix now, and they've really been raised on YouTube videos and consider that the first form of entertainment over traditional television with cable. 78% of the population watch online videos every single week, and 55% view online videos daily. And so again, people are already seeking and consuming this content. So to not have it out there is really going to be hurting any messaging strategy, regardless of what you're looking for the impact to be. By 2020, there will be close to 1 million minutes of video crossing the internet per second. And that's a stat provided by Cisco, and just sort of gives you an idea of how effective this messaging is and this form of media is, because we wouldn't see such an increase if it wasn't working. People are looking for it and are looking to consume in this way, and so more and content is being produced as a result. The highest earner on YouTube made $22 million last year in ad revenue, and he is 7 years old. His name is Ryan. He runs an account called Ryan's Toy Reviews. I encourage you to watch it. It's adorable. But I think, again, this speaks to the viral nature that video has. And you just, I think to again, not include it in a strategy, it's detrimental at this point because there's so much video consumption going on in our society today. And HubSpot reports that video can increase click rates by 300%, simply because the message is received more clearly, and as a result, the call to action is taken more seriously. 71% of people watch more video than they did a year ago, and this is something that we continue to see growing year after year. Viewers retain 95% of a message when they watch it versus 10% when they read it in text form, and that's a stat from Invisia. The social media posts with video have 48% more views, according to HubSpot, and Facebook has over 8 billion video views per day, according to TechCrunch. And then finally, Adweek reports that 75 million people visit Facebook each day. And so while, yes, Facebook is becoming less relevant with younger generations, it still is a destination for a lot of people and is by far the most active platform. You have to keep in mind also that they now own Instagram, which is more visual and video focused in nature. And so you're going to see probably more features from the Instagram world merge over to Facebook and vice versa, as that relationship continues to grow. I will also include in the follow-up from this webinar the article that basically just lists a ton of stats of this nature that could be really helpful when making the case to leadership to incorporate video into something that maybe you hadn't before, to lessen fears, but also just support your strategy overall. I think that it's really helpful, especially when trying to educate people who maybe aren't living in this direct marketing mix every day about exactly what's going out and what our audiences are already being privy to. And if you're not, like I said, at the table showing them some video visuals, you're probably missing out. So reviewing some ways that video can enhance your message, you obviously know that because you're on a platform like ThankView, which is fantastic, but they can really add a face and peer-to-peer element without a formal peer-to-peer program. I personally love using something like a video request feature and then turning that around into a solicitation or an invitation for an event, because I am at a school that does not have a really deep network of alumni volunteers or a formalized peer-to-peer solicitation network. So for me, I can lean on volunteers that are willing to record a video, stick to a really simple script and make it their own. And then I can push that out and have the same effect by building an audience that meets the affinities that they present themselves. If your program features a speaker or performance, I think that video is a really great way to do some post-event or even lead-up stewardship to continue the discussion or impact. I also think that it can really help improve RSVPs if you get a direct invitation from the person who is maybe the focus of the program overall, whether that's a leader on campus or a notable alum. Some way to incorporate a direct video from them can really make a world of difference because it's not an HTML basic invitation. Any content that's created with video also has a second and third life on social media platforms. You can really target down to the individual user by simply, uploading a list of email addresses and making sure that that video gets served to them over a certain time frame, so that if they don't catch it completely in the inbox, it will follow them on their newsfeed. And with partnered with a call to action button can really, like I said, start to increase the return that you see on investing in video and making it part of your strategy. Video, as we saw from HubSpot, can absolutely increase the call to action click-through rate. This is a part of the reason why I think my call to action click-throughs are always much better on ThankView versus a traditional email client, because the video is right there on the landing page with the call to action. And so it's a natural next step, and really engages the recipient to act immediately. You can also capitalize on shareability of video. A platform like ThankView makes it very easy to share to a variety of platforms, Twitter and Facebook being the main ones. And so if you have content that is really unique to your constituency and something that you think others would like seeing, put it out to your top volunteers and encourage them to share it, because it literally just takes a few clicks of a button and they're putting it on their own profiles on your behalf. And it's for very, very light lift overall. And then, like I said, you can definitely retarget these across multiple platforms. So you're not just using video for the initial message, but you're using video for follow-up throughout the campaign as well. When thinking about partnerships on and off campus and ways that you can start to create more video, I really think that you need to think about each group a bit more holistically. And so students, I think, you want them maybe to be the subjects of videos, and they could also help a lot with video curation and development, because since they are members of the Generation Z population, they've grown up with computers in their pockets and understand how to become quote unquote insta-famous and shoot video that is appealing for the viewer and unique in nature. And so I think you can really lean on them for support and creative direction, especially if you want it to be a little bit more homegrown in nature. Scholarship recipients make fantastic subjects. Phone-a-thon employees make fantastic storytellers. And I think your class gift committee and student leaders across campus are others that you can really lean on. I think you can look at some clubs and organizations that have had really large memberships. They probably have an alumni base that would love to give back to them or be involved in some way as alums, and being able to engage those groups is important. Faculty staff. I've seen a few different types of campaigns focused around why they give, or more importantly, why they love working for the organization. This is something that you could easily compile into a video request campaign, asking people just simply, why do you love working for this organization? What is your why? I think that, asking your faculty staff population to sit down and think about this and submit a thoughtful response that's about 30 minutes or 30 seconds long is not asking too much of them. And some may not participate simply because they don't want to be featured on video, and that's fine. But tossing it out to a large group like that that's close to home and doing work day in and day out with your students, you'll probably get some really impassioned responses. And I think that this makes for really easy content that you can push out continuously over social media. You can stitch it all together to become a longer video that shares a bigger impact of the community from an individual lens. And then you can also just engage your faculty and staff in a new approach. And I think that especially in a industry like higher ed that sometimes can feel a little bit stale, it can be exciting for your on-campus community to really see that you're trying new things and branching out into different forms of media, and that they get to be a part of it. Again, donors are a huge population that you should absolutely reach out to. Find out why they're giving. Maybe adding that as part of the follow-up that they're receiving. If donors over a certain threshold get a personalized thank you or get an automatic thank you as part of their stewardship plan, asking them to hit reply and reply with a video about why they chose to give where they gave and why they continue to support the institution beyond their time as a student. You probably, again, will get some very interesting responses depending on who's answering, but at the end of the day, if you don't ask, then they're not going to send it back to you. Parents and families, I think, are more shorter term, and therefore you need to identify friendly faces in the crowd that are willing to rise up and emerge as voices to follow and lead. They're, a constituency that expires every year, and have people that are just never going to be part of the donor or engagement pool because they didn't get involved while their student was there. And that's, it is what it is. It's the reality. But I do think that parents and families are eager to participate because they want to be part of their child's experience. And so even just doing a get to know you, what are you most excited for your child's future? What are you most excited for your child's experience? Maybe asking that of your first year families, and then using that as a nice little welcome message at orientation could be really effective. Leadership across the institution or organization, at the end of the day, access and outreach matters. And so it can be good. Major donors, thinking about a way that you can steward with a special interview about supporting a cause on campus. At the end of the day, these people are choosing to open their wallets in a big way and make funds available that are truly going to transform the campus landscape, either programmatically or through scholarship. And being able to sit down and have a frank conversation about why they chose to give what they did and the impact that's being made as a result can really inspire more giving, but also it can inspire more direct giving from them. Because at the end of the day, like, if you're featuring them as a leader, it's going to make them feel great. It's good stewardship. And then it's going to make the ask the next time around that much more easy to say yes to. And then ultimately, if you're volunteers, any level, put it in the job description. Talk about, that they need to be advocates and ambassadors for the university. And that might include lending testimony in the form of, a video or personal story that we can share beyond just that group. In addition, I think that, you can absolutely focus on future students, have orientation leaders, invite their cohorts, things like that. Consider prospective students, scholarship donors, and then volunteers, like I said, keeping them in the know. This is a way that you can also push video out to people. I think that, being able to empower leaders of programs that are already in place and just enhancing their ability to communicate can really open doors for you as the part of your organization that's managing the ThankView contract. Especially if you're like myself and you have an enterprise account and you have unlimited sends, there's more reason to share that resource with people. And so we do one-off partnerships from time to time where different areas of campus will want to send video to their alumni, to their, membership, things like that. And we'll partner with them. And it definitely goes a lot smoother when we need something from them because we've been able to supply such a valuable resource their way. And also at the end of the day, it's just more genuine in nature. Being able to lend a face to an event or something that's a little bit more unknown, like coming for an orientation or an overnight, it mitigates those anxious moments and makes it very clear that there's a lot of thought and care that's going into those situations. So moving on, I wanted to talk about the student job description. This is something that a lot of people have come to us about and really been interested about developing a student job description specifically for working with ThankView. And while I can't say, what works for your institution, because at the end of the day, that's up to you to decide with your staff, I do think that it's worth just highlighting bullets that with my job description are definitely in there. I'm going to have a student start to oversee my ThankView account with obviously my input starting in the fall of this year. And it's a marketing student. She has a lot of interest in building her own portfolio and sees a value in this. And so when building the job description, these are things that I absolutely made sure were included. First of all, you're going to want someone who is a self-starter, who's able to manage projects, because at the end of the day, you have a job to do, and it's not just videos. And if you're constantly troubleshooting and having to provide every little detail, it's just going to take away from your day, right? And so you want somebody with that entrepreneurial spirit. You want somebody who is a storyteller and a creative at heart, who's active on multiple social media platforms. I would argue that they submit their handle as part of the application process so that you can see that they understand and are maximizing the use of the platforms in a personal way. Because if they're not, then they're not going to do that for you when they're working for you. Also, knowledge of the Adobe Creative Suite is a plus, but I wouldn't require it. That's something that you probably could get training on through your IT department, or something that honestly any student these days could just find a YouTube video how to and teach themselves how to use some of those platforms. You definitely want literacy in whatever equipment you're using and comfort using the Microsoft Office suite. But I would lean on admissions and see if there are students in that area that might be looking to get involved, because they're going to be the ones that really have an understanding of the institution's history, its special accolades to tout for, and overall probably have a passion for the university, which is why they applied for the job, that kind of job in the first place. You're going to want pride and knowledge of campus organizations, teams, and the various schools and colleges. Of course, you can always increase that knowledge and provide supplemental information as needed, but you don't want them to be starting from scratch and not knowing about things that are outside of their own unique experience. You want them to be able to work with a variety of campus partners around fundraising and storytelling with video. You want to be sure that they're confident, they're going to be professional, and not make you look bad when you're going outside to other partners and really having them take the lead on developing some content. You also want experience using Adobe Spark or a similar film editing platform. Even like something like iMovie is totally acceptable. Just being able to have confidence in storyboarding and building together a video is going to make your lives a whole lot easier when working with students that just have this literacy already. And then experience shooting and storing high quality video using smartphones or smartphones or whatever other equipment you may have is really important. And I think at the end of the day, like I said, this generation that's currently in our hallways and classrooms every day, we're raised on this technology. And so I would venture to guess that you'll be hard pressed to find somebody who isn't confident at least shooting basic video with their smartphone, because it's a feature that they're all just completely comfortable with. And then at the end of the day, you're going to want them to submit interest. I recommend a video application answering the question, why are you the best fit for this role? It's really open-ended. You can encourage creativity. And I think you'll get a good feel immediately for who is right for this job, because at the end of the day, they're going to have to tell a story in order to get it. And of course, highlight that that's a unique opportunity for students with an interest in building a digital portfolio, and anyone who wants to have creative freedom in making content from scratch, because that's what you need. And so it might not be that, you go to them with a huge list of videos that need to be created. Instead, you might say, what are interesting things that are happening on campus that we should prioritize to have video content on so that we can push that out? Looks like I have a question. Can you recommend a video player or what people use for making videos? We use an iPod Touch, but ours just died. Okay, Tina, I can definitely make a suggestion. I don't know if, like at my organization, they do provide me with a smartphone as part of my role here. And I'll be honest, they gave me an iPhone 6. I appreciate it, but I don't really use it all that much because I have an iPhone 7 Plus for my personal phone. And so I made the recommendation to my boss that instead I trade in my iPhone 6 and get actually an iPhone XR, because that will have better HD video to shoot with. It is an investment. I believe the hardware itself costs about $1,000. I don't know what the logistics work out budget-wise with contracts for service and things like that. It is an investment. That said, I do think that, if you have a smartphone with a decent amount of storage, that can definitely do the job. I'd also be happy to talk with you offline if you were looking to purchase something like a DSLR for your department, because I've had to do that previously at another job and could make recommendations there. We also have a GoPro that I have personally and bring it in for use as needed. And sometimes I'll just take time-lapse video, things like that. But like I said, there's a lot of technology out there that you can use. It just depends on your budget and what you're working with. Awesome. Yeah, so GoPro probably cost, it depends on what you're looking at. I think baseline, you're probably looking at like $400 to $500. And then you could, buy a supplemental package that has a lot of accessories, bells and whistles, so that you could actually mount it to get a lot of footage. You're welcome. Great. And then ultimately, there's a ton of campaigns on ThankView that you can take advantage of, but these are the ones that I really think that you could lean into when trying to collect video. So if you're having an event, ask them to reply with a special sentiment about what maybe they're looking forward to. This is something I envision working really well for a reunion. So if you're having a special 50th reunion celebration or, milestone in some way, shape, or form, ask the class to submit, why they are what they are most looking forward to when they come back to campus, or what their best memory is from their time on campus, and then stitch that together and make it part of a program where maybe they're just having a social hour, and then they could screen this, simple video or use it as a thank you, and mix it in with footage from the weekend. At the end of the day, it's content and you're getting it. You could also just push that out on their class-based. I know a lot of classes will do Instagram accounts and things like that, but you could push it out on your alumni account as just a general, promotion for the upcoming event as well. Video request is huge. This, as I said, allows you to get peer-to-peer impact with light lifting. Just make sure that you're really clear as to what you need included in that video and what question you may want answered. And probably, preempt that send with either an email or a phone call so that the person who's receiving it is comfortable. I do this with my boards all the time and ask them to, for example, say what they're looking forward to about homecoming weekend. And then we send that out as one of the invitations for the weekend overall, with the call to action linking right to the registration page. And it's a great way to cut through the clutter and have something a little different than your traditional HTML email. And then use it to push out information. Sharing is important, and video content is highly prioritized on platforms like Facebook and Twitter. They get way more engagement than static posts or posts with images versus video. So ask your volunteers to share a message on their social platforms. And then if you have people who are regularly sharing content, say thank you. I went to a conference once and saw that the social media manager at a university whose name escapes me would just go through their engagement reports once a week and see who their top 10 influencers were and people who were engaging with their content. And she would send them just a little piece of swag and a thank you note. That's something that you could do monthly. That's something you could do when you have somebody who engages for the first time. I think that finding little ways to say thank you to people who are helping push the message out there, that's an instant way to get even more buy-in from a group like that. And again, if you don't have a formal social media ambassador program, all the more reason to do it. So with that kind of, wraps up our talking about tactics. I'm going to take a break for a minute just to talk about our ThankView referral program, which is still in progress. As you can see here, Chris and Anna Pratt are talking, and he tells her about how much he loves ThankView. She goes to thankview.com/demo and fills in Chris's name when asked about who referred her to ThankView. And when she signs her contract within 3 months of her demo, Chris gets $200 to Amazon. And so if you want to be Chris, just send people our way, and we'd be happy to pay out a $200 Amazon gift card in your name. I wanted to plug again the Facebook Partner Community Group. There are great ideas being shared every day. And if you're not a member yet, please join. It's keep on top of what the, what's working for other people in the field. Questions. Did you come here with something in mind that I haven't addressed? Is there something that, you want offline? Feel free just to shoot questions my way. Okay. And just while we're waiting for any more questions to come in, I do want to let you know that we have another ThankView how-to coming up. It's called Analyzing Your Year of ThankView. It's taking place on Tuesday, July 2nd at 3 p.m. Eastern. And I would really love to have you there. I'll include the link to register in the follow-up with the slides from this presentation. And like I said, I'm also going to include an article from, I believe it is Biteable, which literally just has a long, extensive list of stats pertaining to video. Like I said, that can really help you when trying to dive into a new approach for the first time using video and making the case to higher ups. Yes. So Tina, if you are on vacation for the next one, because it is 4th of July week, feel free just to sign up as though you're going to attend, and then I will make sure to include you on the recap that will include the video and slides and all of that stuff. You're welcome. Any other questions? Okay, everyone. Well, thank you very much for another lovely ThankView how-to. As I mentioned, I am Lindsay Roth. I'm the ThankView Partner Community Manager. You can always feel free to email me directly at lindsay.roth@thankview.com. Happy to brainstorm and touch base offline. And, like I said, Tina, if you want to touch base with me, we can talk about hardware options as well. So that you can make a good decision based on your budget and what you're looking to do with video. Great. Well, I hope to see you all next time. Until then, have a great day. Bye.